Workforce Development Administrator.
I would like to welcome you to the September 16th meeting of the Art and Culture Commission. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Deaver is absent. Derhovanesyan?
Yes.
Lee?
Present.
Wagner?
Present.
And Chairperson Kevanyan is absent. The agenda for the September 16th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on September 10th, 2010. And Commissioners, if you would please nominate a pro tem chair since Chairperson Kevanyan is absent today.
I am pleased to nominate Commissioner Lee to serve as our chairperson today.
And I second the motion.
Roll call.
Commissioners Deaver is absent. Derhovanesyan?
Yes.
Pro tem chair Lee?
Yes.
And Commissioner Wagner.
Yes.
Item 2, consent items. Approval of regular commission meeting minutes from August 19th, 2010 at 2 p.m.
I move approval, although I can't vote to approve them since I wasn't there.
So I'll move the motion. I'll second it.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioners Deaver is absent. Derhovanesyan?
Yes.
Wagner?
Abstain? I wasn't here.
Kevanyan is absent, and Pro Tem Chair Lee.
Yes.
I would make one comment on those, although I don't have them in front of me. I did review the minutes online. And there was a suggestion in there that the commissioners might start a Facebook or some similar exchange of ideas.
Are we talking about the e-newsletter?
No, I read a suggestion that
I believe that Commissioner Deaver made that comment about the event committee for next year's Open Studio Tour.
Okay, I'll look at it later. I was a little concerned at the suggestion that we might have some sort of site that we could share in because of the Brown Act concerns. So I just wanted to raise that. So.
Next item.
Introductions and presentations. At 3A, introduction of the WIB computerized animation training program by Don Nakamoto.
Mr. Nakamoto is the Administrative Development
Workforce Investment Board.
Board. And we asked him to be here to make a presentation about computerized animations. Please, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman Lee and Commissioners. With me is Eric Hulsman. He's the owner of Studio Arts, and they do computer-related animation training, primarily digital effects. But first I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that the Workforce Investment Board does related to this area. I understand there was a question raised at a previous meeting about what types of resources are available in the area of computer animation training or computer art training. And in fact, over about the last 10 years, I think we've done about at least training for 2,000 people in the entertainment industry. Probably about 10 to 15 years ago, the entertainment industry really experienced massive change. Digital effects really came into the industry and turned the industry upside down. Previous to that, there were very little in terms of digital effects. And so the animation that you see today, almost all of it is done digitally. And so we saw, as the Workforce Investment Board, a great need. The entire industry really needed to train in that area. So we received numerous grants, trained over 2,000 people in the industry, upgraded their skills so they could retain their jobs. Probably about a quarter of those people were related to the animation field, worked at places like DreamWorks, Disney, Rhythm and Hues, other places that were working in the animation field. So there are a lot of resources available throughout Southern California. Of course, this is the entertainment capital of the world, and we've worked with at least half dozen entertainment-related training providers that provide this type of artistic and digital animation training. Eric has one of the closest companies here. They're probably, I would say, about 4 to 5 miles away, something like that, from Glendale's border. We did a project with them within the last 6 months. We used stimulus money to train 16 people that needed an upgrade in their skills. They were already animators, but as anybody in the animation field knows, if you don't have, you could have all the artistic hand-drawing talent in the world, but if you don't have the digital skills today, you're not going to get employment. And so we trained 16 people that needed that upgrade through his program that was really targeted toward employment. All 16 got jobs, and he put together a great program. And so that's a resource, I think, for people in the city of Glendale that are either in that field. He has other programs that are more introductory that also could be a pretty good fit. And so I wanted Eric to be here to talk a little bit about his program. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Problem isn't my talking. My problem is stopping. So you guys would probably be best off letting me do a little tiny brief and then just ask questions if you don't mind.
And I can vouch for that. It's hard to get Eric to stop talking.
Yeah, of course. With much pride, I talk about what we do because we've had the good fortune of working with folks like Don here to be able to provide training for folks in the Glendale corridor. And, of course, we're not limiting this discussion at Glendale. Of course, it also means outlying areas like Burbank or La Crescenta. But certainly in the service area for the Glendale WIB, we've been doing H-1B training and most recently the ARA training that he just talked about, and we've had quite a few people come through our doors. And it hasn't been exclusively computer animation training. That was only one thing I wanted to try to update you guys with based on what Don's brief was, and that was that we also do what's called post-production training. We do graphic design and other sorts of training that are related certainly to animation but aren't exclusively animation. So anything digital, anything that you would see visually, anything art-oriented that you would see that would be done on the computer is something we train people for over at Studio Arts. So any questions you guys might have, I'd be happy to answer for you.
Is that open to the public? And what type of criteria for those training, or is that just for the employees?
It's for anyone. We're a business, so we, certainly want people to come in and take our classes. I think the only issue would be that sometimes the classes that we teach are pretty high end, and we would want to see that that person has the commensurate experience for being able to do that kind of training. Typically, we want people to be somewhat literate with the computer. But, to be honest about it, the point about doing this kind of training would be for people who are going to go into these fields. So, there is an expectation for drawing, for example. It's not limited to using the computer. You have to have some skills that are going to translate into how they'll look on screen when you present anything digitally. So, that certainly doesn't exclude anyone from the public, and we have many people from the public who do come to our classes.
Question. Is there any money involved? Do you charge for those trainings? Or if you do, how much do you charge?
A typical class would be 30 hours in length. It would run 10 weeks. A typical scenario would be, say, a Monday night class. You come from 7 to 10. The training might be in something like Photoshop or Maya, some products that he just mentioned. And that class would cost $1,500. And so with most of the people that we see, they usually have grants of some sort that they're using to offset the cost of the class.
Thank you.
One thing, too, we do subsidize training for people that have lost their jobs For example, there were animators in the field that may have been laid off, low-income people that are unemployed. Our organization has the funding to subsidize the training at companies like Eric, so that option is also out there.
Another one of my representative hats is as a district representative on the Workforce Investment Board, so I've had the chance to learn, first of all, that there are some very successfully handled ARA funds in this area, thanks in enormous part to Mr. Nakamoto and the WIB, but also we had a chance to tour the facility at Lowry's California Center, and it really is exciting to see the kind of collaboration that's going on. But one of the other things I wanted to mention that I have learned being on the Workforce Investment Board is the fact that, and please correct me if this is not right, that entertainment is our largest segment of employer in this region. Is that right?
Between Glendale and Burbank, it is. And I guess the other really important development for Glendale is that Disney is in the process of creating what they're calling their creative campus. It's 125 acres. They're pulling together all the digital aspects of their entire corporation into one area. So eventually they'll have the animation section, internet-related, all these different aspects, television, to try to merge the talent and cross over to different mediums. And so that's going to be a driving force in the Glendale area in making entertainment probably the fastest growing industry in the next 10 to 15 years in this region. The other important thing is that Disney has established a creative, I forgot the exact terminology, but studio within one of the schools in in Glendale Unified School District.
Glendale High Digital Arts Program.
Right, and so I think eventually there's going to be a major push within the schools to try to develop some of the talent that will feed into some of the many studios here that deal in the animation and arts area. So that's another important thing, I think, for this commission as well as the Workforce Investment Board to consider.
My question is to Mr. Nakamoto and Commissioner Wagner. What about the kids who are graduating from Clark Magnet School and also Daly? At Clark, they get quite hands-on experience with the digital system. And then if entering into career life, if they need to, would this kind of help, or are we going to have any kind of hookups for those kids, or is just only for Glendale High as a part of the curriculum that is added?
I think, well, I would comment and ask Mr. Nakamoto to. One of my jobs, I think, is to help students and their teachers understand the resource we have through the Job Center. That's a wonderful doorway to training possibilities. They're not, I won't say they're unlimited, but there are opportunities that students might avail themselves of, and just the opportunity to know the companies in the region, to maybe take a field trip to see another training facility. But
yeah, I think there definitely is that possibility for progression. So somebody who is interested in getting into the entertainment arts area that graduates from high school, there are a lot of different routes they can take. They can go to some art school, either locally or someplace else, to get the type of artistic skills developed, which occurs a lot. A lot of the people at high levels of animation are recruited from the art schools up in Canada and other places. But also I think there's some avenues locally, because with schools like Eric's, if they have the ability and the drive, there's that possibility. Glendale College also has a program that can help them progress to a point where they could get employment and start a career in that area. So they need some innate talent, but there are resources within the region that can help them progress up to an employment level. Maybe not the very top, because, of course, we have companies like Disney and DreamWorks that are the top of the field, and you have to really be a super talent to reach that level and pay your dues to, climb the ladder. But still, I think there are some possibilities there, and I think, Eric, you probably are pretty familiar with how that process works.
I was going to follow up with, from what Don was saying, with some things I've experienced in the past and have done. I worked in the public sector for quite a while with LA Unified School District with my own ROC program, and the occupational center program I had a branch location where I'm at now. In fact, that's where I met Don when we were starting to do the H-1B grant. At that point, I went private and did that training. But the experience I had was tremendous, because what I happened to get were contacts in the industry, and they really were looking for anyone that had this talent. They weren't always recruiting overseas. They would love to have had the talent locally. But the problem was that many people were leaving high school without adequate skills to go to work. But I had the good fortune of meeting a guy who worked right here in Glendale, and he worked right here where Warner Brothers was when they were on Brand Boulevard here not too long ago. His name was Dave Master, and he had a program that was an ROP program. It ran out of a high school. It was over in Walnut Hills, and it was tremendous. It was practically unbelievable to me, because when I first walked over there, I saw all these people in the room who were professional animators taking classes. I wondered why, and it was because they had a system where they had professional animation teachers that were actually here in Glendale that were teaching from Warner Brothers, and the people out at Rowland Heights was actually the name of the ROP. Rowland Heights would get the transmission in the classroom. Now, this is over 10 years ago this was happening. And what Warner Brothers did was they committed to hiring people out of that program, and that included high school kids who were just seen to have the talent at that point, had a conduit directly to the studio, and then were hired on for the show Space Jam, which was quite a while back, as you may remember. So, things like that have been happening for years. I think it's always just a matter of coordination of resources to get any of this stuff going. I met Ms. Wagner some time ago, and if you remember our conversation, it was about, how do we connect to the high schools? What do we do? I think one thing that would really help is if we had you guys in contact with the Animation Guild in particular, because they have a thing called the Animation Institute, which is very much like the Rowland Heights ROP program that I just talked about. And you have professionals in the room, you have professional teachers who work in the animation industry teaching these classes. And they typically run $60, $65. Not far from there, it's also in Burbank, I should say, not far from there is Art Center, and Art Center has a high school program on Saturdays. And every one of those teachers is top-notch. I can vouch for them. Personally, because I know them. And these are things that I would say, if you're at Glendale High School and you walked into, the career counselor's office, these things should be posted up on a board, and the numbers clearly, printed letters and numbers about this high. Here's how you do this. Call that number, go to that website, here's all your information. It's like a resource directory. And that gets a lot of kids excited and gives them what they need to get going. So that's my opinion about what I think could be done.
Thank you.
We'll be talking. Or someone will.
Do you have a website, a contact number, in case anybody's listening?
We're at www.studioarts.com. So I appreciate being here and being able to talk about this stuff, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
At 3B, presentation of Beneath the Veil production by Mary Appick and Rosnick Gregorian.
Well, the presentation of the Beneath the Veil production has been postponed until October, so we will be moving to the next item.
At 3C, presentation of celebrative events honoring Professor Vladimir Atanyan by Irina Srapionyan.
Ms. Srapionyan is here.
Srapionyan, yes.
Srapionyan
I know
is
it's
here to
difficult to
talk
pronounce.
about the September 26th celebrative events honoring Professor Vladimir Atanyan. Welcome, Irina.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much for having me today, and I would like to thank City of Glendale Arts and Culture Commission for always supporting the arts organization and schools. And on behalf of Atanyan Arts Center and Yerevan Association, I would like to invite you to a very important event on September 26th, which will be at the Pacific Community Center that Sunday at 7:30, and we'll be honoring Mr. Vladimir Atanyan, because he's not only going to be 7 years old, but will be celebrating his 50 years of his artistic career. And to mark this important celebration, like about 7 or 8 months ago, there has been an organized committee which included official and distinguished people of the organizations and community members. And we, in the field of arts, we owe Mr. Atanyan a great deal of respect for his devotion to the arts and his dedication to opening the arts to young people, and as well the community itself. And this devotion helped him, inspired him to open a School of Fine Arts and Design in 1993. So we've been in Glendale for more than 17 years. And for over the past 17 years, we had probably more than 2,000 students representing many nationalities. They have graduated from the Atanyan Arts Center, and a great number of graduates has continued their art education at prestigious art colleges and universities. And all those who involved in the school can proudly point to it as one of the kind. It's in the community, and the city of Glendale is privileged and proud to be home of such a fine, unique arts center. And Mr. Atanyan, he's not only teaching art. He's a professor of art. He's a Glendale's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, and he has many international diplomas and awards. He's a state prize winner of Armenian Republic and honored art worker of also Armenian Republic. And he's been exhibiting. He had more than 250 shows in Europe, in North America, and number of his works is a number of international collections, museums, and he always stays loyal to his community here in Glendale and Burbank. And he tirelessly devotes himself to keeping the arts alive and well in times of, this budget cuts and closures, so that our community will continue to benefit. For the children, he has organized about 50 different expositions. He published art catalogs and booklets of children's artwork, which was freely, with no charge, distributed to all schools and art organizations here in Glendale, Burbank, Los Angeles area. And he worked with a number of organizations and city programs, also not only in Glendale, but Burbank and Los Angeles. And he worked also with organization in a National Endowment for the Arts Founded project to bring the arts to low-income senior citizens. And I assure that the event will be very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that we have sent the invitations to the City of Glendale, but I brought just in case a few more if we forgot someone. I'm not sure we didn't, but and we have a very interesting program. We're going to have exhibition of Vladimir Atanyan's works, sculptures, and paintings, about probably 40 or 50 pieces. And then it's going to be opening ceremony, and it's going to be a representation of the book that has. We've got this book like about maybe 10 days ago from the publishing company. And today, on behalf of Vladimir Atanian, I brought two of these books, one for Art and Cultural Commission, and he signed here, and also the other one for Mayor, Mr. Aranajarian. And I would like to...
Thank you.
So thank you very much, and one more time, we want you to be part of the event.
Thank you for the invitation. I did get.
I didn't see an RSVP on the invitation. You're not asking for a reservation. Just come.
Just
right?
come. It's free for public, so it's community welcome to come and enjoy the show with us. I mean, it's.
Thank you.
We'll be there definitely. I've cut my trip short to make sure that I'm coming to your special event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Irina.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 4, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Commission may question the matter, but there will be no debate or decision. Staff may refer the matter for investigation and report.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the Commission. My name is Annette Vartanian with the Community Redevelopment and Housing Department. I'm here to give an update on the Downtown Glendale Art Installation Program. It is actually now called GATE Glendale Area Temporary Exhibitions. We released our call for artists on Thursday of last week, and we have notified all of the artists that were on our interested artist list. We collected a lot of artist information through the website and I believe through the Arts and Culture Commission's newsletter. But I'm here just to notify the public as well as the Commission that we are accepting more proposals through the middle of October. It's October 15th. So I encourage any interested artists or artist organizations and groups to submit their proposals through the website. We are advertising the call for artists through all of the Glendale-based organizations as well as organizations in the LA County area, but we really want to get Glendale artists to participate in this program. Information is available on the city website. It's on the right-hand side of the main page under the rotating banner. It's called Gate Projects, and right under it, it'll say our installation program, and it'll link you directly to the program website. If you'd like to visit the program website directly, that's gateprojects.org. And all the information on the call for artists is available on that website. And the program updates will be there too. So as soon as we start having events and openings, it will be updated there. As of right now, we have identified various vacancies in the downtown that we could do galleries and installations, but we still don't have a property owner that has opened up their doors to allow us to do the program. So if anybody does know any property owners in the downtown area, I do encourage them to participate in this program. It does not cost a property owner anything. It'll actually help beautify their property as it will activate it. We will do some interior work on it. It'll all be free to the property owner, and it will bring arts and culture to the downtown area, which is, I think, something that we are missing right now. And that is my update. If you do have any questions, I think to the extent I can, I will answer.
My question is, are you doing this in collaboration with the Art and Culture Commission? Number one. Number two, how do you curate this? That means what is the criteria for accepting the artist's work? Because Art and Culture Commission has already a staff member who is a curator in the field. So I wanted to see, are we working together, or this is a separate thing and you have hired somebody who would be in the process of accepting, recruiting artists and putting their work and deciding which work is going to be there?
We got direction from the redevelopment agency to start this program as an economic development tool, as a number one priority, because we did have a lot of vacancies in the downtown area, and in order to eliminate the blighting effect that the vacancies had, we thought that we could introduce art in the storefronts. So they also directed us to issue an RFP for a consultant to manage the program in its entirety. We did get the arts and culture or cultural affairs coordinator to participate in the selection process of that, and we have been coordinating with the department to expose the program to the artists, because we do want Glendale artists to be involved with it. But it is an agency project, but it is we are coordinating with the Arts and Culture Commission staff person, and Praxis is the consultant that has been retained to work on this. Praxis has worked in downtown LA and in a lot of areas for on projects specific to what they're doing in Glendale. And in terms of curating, they're doing the curation of the artwork, and they're handling the entire selection of the artists.
Thank you. That was a very good response. It's a fabulous idea. It's wonderful to get all the storefronts and etc. It's just I wanted to see, since City of Glendale has already established a department, and within the department there is a commission that takes care of it. But as long as our staff member has been involved and is in the process, that's wonderful. That's basically what I needed to know. Thank you.
If I may say something, I just wanted to clarify that a GATE project is the same as the vacant storefront project. They just have a new name, which will be identify all the participants, about the project. But like Annette already informed you, I was involved from the beginning very much at the process of researching and interviewing, and now that we obtained the services of Praxis, right? We would like, of course, to see Praxis come to the Commission and maybe make a presentation of their upcoming programs in the City of Glendale, and we are all very excited.
Ms. Marashan, thank you for the explanation, because basically I wanted to see if everything is within the right route and everything is being used the proper way. So that sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Lovely to see you, Annette.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Next item.
Item 5, business agenda. 5A, action items. At 5A1, appointment of new liaison to the Associates of Brand Library Board.
At this meeting, the Commission will appoint a new liaison to the Associates of Brand Library. The board meets bi-monthly, twice every other month, every second Wednesday of the month from 9:30 to 11 o'clock, and at the Brand Library Conference Room. They just met this month, last Wednesday, so the next meeting will be in November 10th. Ms. Huguet Zmuitzinas, the treasurer of the Associates of Brand Library, is here to answer your questions. If you have any questions for her. I do recall at the last commission meeting, Commissioner Derhovanesyan expressed interest to be the new liaison, so you can...
I would be very happy if somebody would take up. I sort of fell off that duty when the meetings switched from Sundays to Wednesdays. I'm still a member. I send in my dues. But and I try to volunteer occasionally for their openings, but it would be great if we could have a regular representative.
That would be wonderful, because, before, assumingly, I was supposed to help whenever you are not there to go. But now that we notice that things are working the way it does, it would be a good idea. I would love to help you with that, to be the liaison between the commission and the...
I did have a question that you might answer. What I wanted to announce the Works on Paper exhibit, and I couldn't find my card that had the date. What is the...
You have to come near to the microphone.
And we could use all the publicity that the city could offer us for free. Because a lot of residents don't even know that the Brand Library exists. So whatever the Culture Commission could do would be very welcome.
If there's a flyer that's available online, I'm
Yeah,
sure
it is on the
It's on the
library online.
on the
website,
library
yes.
website.
On the library website.
Are we talking about the juried exhibition on paper?
Yes.
I think they just sent out
They just sent out the
postcards.
cards and all of
Cards,
that.
yeah.
But, if there
And
is
the booklet
any,
has been in the process of being
like
published.
sometimes you have like the city views or something like that. I think the library doesn't get much, the events are there, but it's not very
Visible.
visible.
Well,
There's never a picture of anything. It's just that the date is there, and that's it. So I don't know.
But the Associates of Brand has the website, correct? Are you utilizing
Their
the
website is not very good. We're trying to have it redesigned, but it's a slow process. We have one of the members offered, probably know Arlene.
Yes.
She has offered to redesign it to make it
Arlene
more.
Vidor, you mean?
Arlene Vidor, yeah. But we're still there, still not finished. And also, when you were talking about the arts for the lady that just left, the associate has a collection of purchased awards from the work on, because that's the 39th year that this show is going on. So every year, one of the winner paintings is purchased by the associates. So that would be a good idea to also promote our efforts with the arts.
Actually, the
Yeah.
the
I think-
Associates of Brand Library began an effort a few
Yeah.
years ago
Yeah.
to try to
To do
get
just that.
to do this project that has now come to fruition.
And we
So-
especially had some of the paint for the artwork reframed and be ready to be on display anywhere. So we're
I think now is the best time for the associates to fill out one of the forms that is on the redevelopment agency's site to be part of this project, which is going to start very soon. The due date to submit the applications is October 15th, and the project will be for a whole year until next November.
till next November.
So the Associates Purchase Award collection is the best thing. I mean, this might be a very good project for you to show the whole collection.
Yeah, and it also would be a good promotion of the work we do and the library itself. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. So now, do
Yes,
we
so
need
now-
to vote or just we
Yes,
decide?
yes.
It's an action item, so
I heard a nomination,
I nominate Arlette Derhovenessian to serve as our liaison.
and I will second that. Any discussion? No?
You're here.
Roll call, please.
Commissioners Deaver is absent. Derhovenessian.
Yes.
Wagner.
Yes.
Kevanyan is absent. Pro Tem Chair Lee.
Yes.
Next item, 5B reports, and 5B1 Arts and Economic Prosperity for Study Participation Requirements.
at this commission meeting, the commission, at the last commission meeting, the Arts and Culture Commission approved our participation at the Arts and Economic Prosperity Study. I'm sorry, at the June commission meeting, it was approved for us to participate at this Arts and Economic Prosperity Study in 2011. Just recently, we have received the contract, which is due and has to be sent back by the end of this month. As soon as we send out the contract, we will be officially a partner city of this economic impact study. We prepared this report, a brief report for you, just to share with you all the requirements that are asked from the participating parties at the Arts and Economic Prosperity Study project. The first thing that we are required to do is to identify our primary contact person for the project and provide them with the list of all nonprofit arts and cultural organizations list, which are currently we are working to update our list. Then we will be assisting the Americans for the Arts with their surveys. The fourth item on their list was that we have to provide at least 800 individual audiences, surveys of the audiences who participate at the nonprofit arts events. And finally, the fee has to be paid, which is $7,500. And we have agreed that the fee will be paid in 3 installments. The first installment of the $2,500 is due October 31st. That's conclude my report. We will come back to the commission with the progress we make.
Last time around, the commissioners were asked to participate in the audience surveys. Is that
yes
an expectation? So you'll be giving us
dates? That would have been, of course. The survey for the audience, it will happen towards the end. We assume towards the end of 2011. At this point, the very first thing we have to provide them with is the list of our active nonprofit arts and cultural organizations, comprehensive list of their information. As soon as we receive more directions from them, what has to be done, I think the second part of our responsibility is to help them out with the surveys of those nonprofit organizations who doesn't respond to their requests of filling out the information or responding to their surveys. Then we become responsible on approaching these companies and doing the survey for them. The last part will be collecting the 800 individual surveys from the audiences. I think that will be great. By then we will have a volunteer group, and maybe we can ask the commission to help us out with collecting that information, which is going to be crucial for them to have an accurate report at the end of this project for us.
Is it fair to guess that you are the primary project contact?
Yes, you have guessed correctly.
Thank you.
For now.
Okay. I look forward to it, and it's
It's
further evidence that we have heard earlier today with the Workforce Investment Board report. We know that arts are a huge part of our economy, and
yes,
supporting arts is an economically wise thing to do.
Thank you.
Any more comments? Next item.
Item 6, commission and staff comments.
I'm ready. Well, I attended my first meeting of Glendale Arts Tuesday morning at 7:30, and it was very enjoyable. They got a lot done. There were quite a few business items on their agenda, tidying up, updating bylaws, and adopting Rosenberg's Rules of Order, which I had never heard about, but it's a more user-friendly rule of order than Roberts and shorter. And it's being accepted by more and more. League of California Cities and other organizations are increasingly adopting it for small groups in certain settings, not for everyone. But I will look forward to getting to know those rules of order. There are plans underway for a benefit concert. I'll wait for the group to make that announcement when things are finalized. But I would also point out that tonight the Glendale Renaissance Orchestra is having its concert featuring Lorna Luft, one of Judy Garland's daughters, at 7:30 at the Americana, I believe. I can't go. I have a choir rehearsal because we're getting ready for the 50th anniversary concert on October 3rd, Sunday at 4, free, featuring our organist, Ladd Thomas, also organ instructor, professor at USC. But he has been our organist for 50 years, and he's not retiring. But so I can't go tonight. But I would hope that others might look for tickets. Stepping Stone Players, one of our honorees, one of our Diamond Award winners, their Willy Wonka production is continuing this weekend and next weekend at Hoover High School, Friday and Saturday evenings at 7, Sundays at 2. This weekend, finishing September 26th. Tickets are available either online, steppingstoneplayers.org, I believe, or at the gate, at the door. And we already talked about the Atanian event, and we talked about Brand 39 starting October 2nd. The works on paper, so that's the opening exhibit. And I wanted to share. I had a letter from Art from the Ashes and the Glendale Parks and Open Space Foundation, stating that their exhibit, they were able to raise over $40,000 in sales, donations, and sponsorships. I thought it was such a wonderful collaboration, such a wonderful show. It was wonderful that such beautiful things could come out of that raging fire. So I wanted to thank Dottie Sharkey and Joy Fewer and all who were involved in that. Unity Fest, Stephen and I will go from here to the next meeting at 4. Oh, we'll have a little time. Getting ready for Unity Fest on Sunday, October 10th from 11 to 4 on Brand. And just before that, on the Thursday morning before that, the Glendale Unified, actually, the Glendale Educational Foundation State of the Schools Breakfast starts at 7 o'clock at Edison Pacific. And let me know if you'd like to come. I may have some tickets. So that concludes my report.
Mine is not a report. I would like Representative Marashian to give us a little bit update about two major events that is happening, not in Glendale, but it is within this area. One is Achille Gorgie's exhibition, and the other one is Doris Chiknavorian's presentation. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch up with the Saturday event that they had at the Lexus
dealership.
Okay, whatever. So, but I wanted to see how much time do we have. I heard that he's going to come back. So please give us an update, because there are many people who are interested on those two topics.
Oh, you want an update now?
Yes. Can you, basically, till how long would Achille Gorgie's would be present at the time?
About the Achille Gorgie exhibition, it takes place at the MoCA Museum, and I am going to try to go there today because the last day of the exhibition is next Monday, September 20th. I've heard so many good things about the exhibition. This is one of the best curated exhibition, and the collection that they have at the MoCA is just unbelievable, collected from worldwide collectors from the museums, and this is a show not to be missed. I am very excited to go and see the exhibition. About the Glendale Symphony, I have talked to Commissioner Kay Vanyan, who's the executive director now for the Glendale Symphony, and he's excited about the couple of programs that they have scheduled already in October and November. But I was hoping that he will be here to give us more information, insight, and more precise information.
But from what you told me, we had a little talk. It seems that he is going to come back. Are you sure about that? Do we have a date, or it's not yet clear?
Are we talking about Loris Chiknavorian?
Yes.
Loris Chiknavorian is traveling. He's going back. I'm not sure today or tomorrow, but he will be back in October for another concert.
Okay.
So I'm sure we will have more information. I have talked to Arman Ivanian about that, so we will have some announcement ready for our e-newsletter, which has to go sometimes in the first week of October. Which reminds me, our newsletter is due soon. Dear Commissioners, please, if you have anything to share that you like to have it, if you have anything ready for our newsletter, please send it to me as soon as possible. We have a lot of good projects and call for artists to announce in our newsletter for October. And I would like to come back to you with more information next month.
One more thing. We were thinking, sort of, last year when we had our Committee for Man's Inhumanity to Man, we need to start much earlier. We cannot start the time we did. It was hard to catch up, to have everything in place. So what do we need to do? Do we need to put it on the agenda, or do we need to discuss, to organize the committee, and to see what we need to be doing in that direction?
I would suggest that we discuss that first at the August 24th Council's meeting about urban art program. The link that I sent to the commissioners was giving a direction to the commission to focus on policy writing more than programming. So at this point, I'm not very clear about the direction. I think staff is still working on those guidelines. I can find out more and come back to you and see where the Commission stands in regards the Men's Inhumanity to Men as a project, doing a project.
Okay. Well, meanwhile, maybe it's a good idea if I talk to the mayor Nigerian, because this is in conjunction with the Week of Remembrance. So last year they were expecting us to be part of it. So to be able to be part of it in its whole magnitude, we need to start much earlier to see what is his direction specifically about this one. Now, if it is because of our staff time, we can do differently. But I do believe that that's expected to be part of the agenda for that month. So maybe I would have a little meeting with the mayor and we'll see what direction he needs to take on that one. Because I know that you are already put on doing so many different things. It's just, I don't think one should override the other, so we'll see how it works. Okay. Thank you.
All right, my turn. Okay, for all you people, the Glendale Unified is proud to be one of the few schools in California that will be participating in the International Walk to School Day, which will be October 6th. So anybody who's interested, Glen Oaks Elementary School is one of the participating schools. I myself will be leading, we're calling it a walking school bus from the Chevy Chase Country Club. We'll be walking all the way down to Glen Oaks Elementary School, which is approximately, I think, a little over 2 miles. So that would be a really good walk. We're setting up different other stops on the way. So anybody who's interested, you can contact the Glen Oaks Elementary School for now, and then we can update you and get you information. So hopefully everybody can join a walk. It's good for the health, it's good for the environment, it promotes safer routes for walking, reduces traffic, because the goal is to be walking to school instead of driving to school. We're trying to alleviate congestion at all the elementary schools and all the schools in general from parents' drop-offs. So I think that's a very, very good event. So hopefully everybody can join. Now, for all those who are looking for something to do on Sunday, Thai Cultural Day, it's the 18th annual. It'll be at Barnsdall Park in Los Angeles. It will be from 11 to 5, and it says free parking. So there's, different demonstrations for all of you who want to basically see Thailand without going there. Come to the event. You'll see entertainment. They'll have painting demonstrations, costume fashion show. So it's a very good event. If you need more information, go to the website www.thaiculturalcenter.org. That's THAICULTURALCENTER.org. With that, next item.
Item 7, written communications. There is none.
We have.
And item 8, adjournment.
Thank you.
Did a good job.